The Prime Minister Scott Morrison has just touched down in Timor-Leste ahead of announcing a controversial maritime treaty. Indonesia correspondent Anne Barker joins me now from Timor-Leste. And what's on the Prime Minister's agenda for today?
Richard, you're right. Scott Morrison was due to land in Dili about now. He's the first Australian Prime Minister to come to Timor-Leste since Kevin Rudd in 2007. Now, the main reason he is here is to exchange notes with the Timorese government to effectively ratify or put into force that maritime treaty that was signed last year, and that will finally set up a permanent seabed boundary between Australia and East Timor. And it talks about the division of the royalties from key oil and gas fields in the Timor Sea, particularly the Greater Sunrise field, which is valued at around 50 billion Australian dollars. Now, they have chosen today, a very historic day, because it is the 20th anniversary today of the independence vote in 1999 that led to East Timor's independence. So he will also join celebrations here in Dili this evening. There are predicted to be tens of thousands of Timorese joining a national party just west of Dili, a massive event in fact. Now, Scott Morrison will also be announcing two major funding packages for East Timor. One of them is funds and assistance to lay an undersea fibre optic cable between Timor and Australia and effectively transform Timor's connectivity to the rest of the world. It's apparently one of the few countries left in the world that doesn't have a fibre optic cable, so it could transform its internet and its digital connections. Also, there will be a package of assistance and funding to help build a new Navy base on East Timor's north coast. There are two Australian patrol boats also that will be gifted to East Timor in the next 3 years, and there will be funding for the maintenance and operation of those two patrol boats once they are delivered.
And Anne, we're seeing live pictures at the moment from Dili with the Prime Minister's plane arriving, and the door is just about to open and the Prime Minister is expected to come down. His visit has been overshadowed, though, by protests in relation to the prosecution of witness K and his lawyer. Tell us about that.
That's right. As we know, witness K and his lawyer Bernard Collaery in Canberra face charges, prosecution over the exposure of Australia's bugging of the East Timorese cabinet rooms back in 2004. Now, the revelations of that bugging led to Timor-Leste abandoning the treaty that was in place at the time, a sort of temporary treaty that was to last only 50 years, but would have divided the royalties 50-50 between Timor and Australia. As a result of that exposure, Timor forced Australia back to the negotiating table, and they eventually renegotiated the treaty to the one that will be ratified today. That gives Timor a far greater share of the royalties and ownership of one field that has given Australia 10% of the royalties over the years. So these two men are regarded as heroes in Timor, and there have been protests this week sort of demanding Australia drop the prosecution against them. There will be a petition delivered here at the Finance Ministry where I am now. That's where the exchange of notes or the ratification will take place later this morning, and that petition again will demand that those men no longer face prosecution in Australia.
Okay, Indonesia correspondent Anne Barker in Dili, thank you.